So I want to take a couple minutes in this video and talk about why we chant and why we chant in Sanskrit. So chanting is a really cool form of meditation. It's a more active form of meditation that's often more accessible to us, especially if we have some hesitation or fear of meditating because we think we can't sit still or we can't clear the mind. Meditating via chanting, especially out loud, you can do it in your head as well, it kind of gives the mind something to focus on. It gives us an easy point of focus for the meditation that's more accessible to a lot of us because you're doing something. You're not just sitting still, you're physically speaking out loud or saying a chant in your brain. So every time your mind starts to wander, you can just bring your attention back to the chant. It's a very powerful form of meditation. And we chant in Sanskrit in part because a lot of these mantras that have been passed down for some of them more than 1,000 years, thousands of years even, are in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is one of the oldest, if not the oldest language, and it was said to have been heard by the ancient rishis, the ancient seers. So it's this language that's very specifically formulated or created with the idea of listening to it and then speaking it. And it's very scientific. It's a lot more scientific than English. There's a lot of rules that are very rote and that are followed routinely. And it's beautiful. The words are beautiful. But the cool thing about Sanskrit is that there's been some studies, even the science behind a lot of this yoga is starting to come to light. And there was a peer-reviewed study in the Yoga Journal, I'll post a link in the description, that found when they hooked up meditators, chanters specifically, to MRI scans of the brain, and they had them chanting Om, Om, and then the control group, they just had making this sound so that it wasn't any kind of chant. And they found that the meditators, the ones that were chanting Om, had stimulation of the vagus nerve in the brain, which is responsible for cardiovascular health and regulates a lot of our psychological, depression, those type of issues. And the vagus nerve is really at the forefront of our health. So chanting was found to actually improve our health and improve vagus nerve functions when compared to the chanters or the individuals that were just making this sound. So it's pretty cool. There's some science behind it too.